This call is being recorded.
Well, I've been sitting here all day, I've been sitting in this waiting room, and I've been waiting on my friends, yes, I'm waiting on this conference call, all alone, and I'm on hold. Well, yes, I'm on hold. I hope it's not all day. Hey! Well, I wonder where they are, yes, I wonder where my friends have gone. Where'd they go? Tell me, where could they be while I'm waiting on this conference call? I don't know. Well, I'm holding on my phone, yes, I'm holding on the line. Hey!
Hello,
Yeah,
you there?
yeah, I'm here. How
How
are
you
you?
doing? Good.
Great, I'm
How are
great.
you?
Rocking.
What you been up to?
Home, just getting things done. What about you?
Same, likewise. How's the family been?
Great, yeah. Everyone's great. Happy to see them. What about your
Good.
side?
Yeah, man, been good. Family's been in town, in and out. It's been just busy and just moving forward.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, the reason for
Uh,
this call is to address the reality of the situation. And the reality is that I wanted both of us to respect the agreement of splitting the returns 50-50, as opposed to your wish of breaking our agreement in order to keep each asset in the registering party's name, which was never part of the agreement. Reality is that before the stock purchases, we had agreed that we were pulling our money together. We had agreed to split returns 50-50, and we were acting on behalf of our funds available for investment. Now let's see why. There's two starting points. Imagine a T-chart. On the left side, we have the starting point that launched this partnership. The reason I committed to this partnership was because I trusted our agreement. I was splitting returns 50-50, which is a long-term opportunity cost. That's the left side. And on the right side, we have your initial starting point and desire to keep each asset in the registering party's name. You introduced this starting point 4 emails ago. Let's see why. On the left side, my desire to split the returns 50-50 is because I want to respect the written agreement. I want to respect the spoken agreement. I want you to remember that the fact that you called me asking to team up and invest together. I want you to remember that I gave you the stock named Inovio. I want you to remember that I gave you the stock named Inovio because I trusted the agreement you wrote saying that we were investing in these stocks together to eventually split the returns 50-50. Eventually meaning 8 figures. That's, again, opportunity cost. I want to remember that due to the nature of what it means to agree to a 50-50 split for an investment portfolio, I gave the name Innovia days before the spike in price. And naturally, I didn't invest in stock myself because we agreed that we would allocate my cash into our long-term investments. That's called delegating. That's called allocating. That's a strategy. That's why people partner up to build investment portfolios. That's why we pooled our money in the first place. That's the nature of the strategy of working together in an investment portfolio, to have funds available for investment long-term, to minimize opportunity cost. In other words, I want you to remember the definition of an investment portfolio. I want you to remember the definition of pool investments. I want you to remember the definition of an investment. I want you to remember the definition of a short-term investment. I want you to remember the definition of a long-term investment. I want you to remember that I delivered the stock named Innovia timely when it was otherwise kept secret by publications. And I want you to remember that I delivered my cash available for investment for long-term investments timely. So timely that it cost me double the exchange rate. The buy rate for the US dollar fluctuates around 20, 25 pesos, and the sell rate is mostly 18 pesos. So on the most favorable day, it could have cost me $950 in exchange rate alone if I was a nine-figure institution. But I am an individual, and like most individuals, I had to go through a bank. Their exchange rate cost me $1,000. That's $40, another $30 for the banker's fee. A $200 daily withdrawal limit from the ATM made this 25 transactions. $5 per ATM transaction amounts to $125 in ATM fees. So that's 1,000 plus 30 plus 125. That's $1,155 in banking costs on a cheap day. That was just the cost to move the money in time for the early rounds for stock purchases. That's $1,155 in banking costs, gone. And you complain to me about taxes getting dicey. Recognize that up until this conversation, I had not mentioned that cost. I did not feel entitled to mention that cost to you because, after all, I was focused on building this towards at least an 8-figure partnership. Maybe you didn't appreciate the personal sacrifices that I absorbed to get the job done. So I want you to respect their teamwork. I want you to respect that you pitched the extremely risky, that's your quote, illiquid, private, untradable stock investments, which we agreed to allocate to as a team. I want you to remember the difference between buying and allocating. Allocating, not buying. I want you to remember that I got you, my best broker. I want you to remember that I taught you how to value stock. What I taught you about valuing stocks, not even 4 years of business school teaches you that. That's $280,000 in business school tuition that won't teach you what I taught you. I want you to remember that you called me asking for my help in finance and investment at a time when I was already profitable on my own trades. That's opportunity cost. So all these are my items I respected and delivered on to justify my desire of splitting the returns 50-50. And now on the right side, we have your desired initial starting point to keep each asset in the registering party's name. If you want that, it means inherently that you're going against my good faith and against my desire to respect our agreement to split the returns 50-50. And so if you're going to attempt that, for that to make sense, it would mean that you're going to have to disprove each item I mentioned. These are items based on what I've delivered, 37 items. The portfolio wouldn't have existed without those 37 items. Whereas as your starting point is the exact antithesis of an investment team. To keep each asset in the registering party's name is the direct opposite of what an investment partnership is. And that means you propose keeping 100% of our short-term investments, quote, as an initial starting point, unquote. So your starting point is keeping 100% of investments. Well, since you introduced that idea as a starting point, my 37 items towards the successful growth of the portfolio that would have otherwise never existed just placed me as a better deserving by merit of keeping 100% of the investments. A man's game charges a man's price, and the price of a man's commitment to an 8-figure partnership is 100% of the short-term portfolio. That's the real price of my commitment. It's at least $280,000, and it's not even 4 years of business school will teach you what I taught you. The reality check is that the penalty for sabotaging has to be greater than the reward for sabotaging. That's how the world works. If the world didn't work like that, it would mean that people would sabotage 100% of the times instead of committing to a long-term 8-figure partnership. So if the reward for stealing was greater than the penalty for stealing, everyone would steal other people's life savings and livelihoods 100% of the time. If the reward for lying was greater than the penalty for lying, everyone would lie to the judge 100% of the time. If the reward for cheating was greater than the detriment to your reputation, everyone would cheat their fellow prep school alumni and friend 100% of the time. The reward for the commitment to the partnership was 50-50. That was the starting point. Up until your email in January, that was the only starting point. So the reward for sabotaging is, by your standards, 100%. And it is demonstrably self-evident that the penalty for sabotaging into a new initial starting point has to be greater than 100% of the investment. That's exactly right. The real price for sabotaging me after delivering on those 37 items timely, and for sabotaging me after exploiting my expertise, which you can only find in the top 3% of people who graduated with a business degree in the United States of America, is at least $280,000. No intervention that is evident in the conversation will reverse that.
So what's your deal?
You pay me all that you were ready to take from me.
Well, first of all, the propositions that you have put forth were misinterpreted by the buy and sell agreement that you signed at the initial outset. You do have some good points. However, I would like you to read the initial investment agreement.
You're looking at it right now?
The investment agreement reads, and I'll read it back to you. As partners of SAS Fund, Daniel Blake and Romano Mesaliel hereby agree to a 50-50 asset investment and return agreement. Until we reach equal equity, the graphics below will serve to manage, track, and value our fund as we progress forward. Meaning that each of us invest the same amount, and each of us get returned the same amount. Now, we had expenses and we had ample opportunity for you to report your expenses. You failed to do so. I'm willing to waive you that, and we can add that value back in. But your opportunity cost does not hold water. Your experience cost does not hold water. And your understanding of the initial agreement at which you were not able to respond to a simple email to be able to maintain a cohesive and coherent line of communication for weeks at which we were in a very unstable agreement, or more so predicament, about how to move forward, displayed complete negligence and distrust on your behalf.
How is that true? How is that point about negligence true?
That you unable to communicate with your partner.
So I was unable to communicate with you. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry?
I was unable to communicate with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, you chose
And why do you
not
say
to.
that? Why do you say that?
Because there are various emails not responded to on a timely order.
I have all the emails responded to. I have all the emails that I responded to.
On a timely order, and weeks on end without communication.
You think we went weeks on end without communication? That is false.
Yes.
You're blaming that on me. That is false. How is that negligent? How is that how are we? How does that? You said that that leaves the agreement misinterpreted. Like how does any of that make sense?
No, these are my terms for wishing.
What are your terms?
These are my terms for wishing that we do not move forward as an entity. All right.
What are your terms?
Now,
okay. Say your terms? Tell them again. Let's run it down.
My terms are that we were not progressing.
Okay. How do you explain that? Not progressing. What does that mean? Where's the money not? How was that not progressing? Yes.
The money was there.
That was growing, and the money was growing. So the money is progressing.
Yes. Well,
exactly.
Not
exactly.
That
first term has been disproved.
No. Let me speak.
Okay.
Let me speak. We had various loose ends about our business that needed communication upon.
Okay, what are those loose ends? You got to explain those loose ends.
Sorry?
You got to explain those loose ends. What are those loose ends?
Right, loose ends were how we were going to get a bank account, how we were going to incorporate, how we were going to pay our taxes, and how we were going to manage ourselves moving forward.
Okay, manage ourselves moving forward, meaning what? That's a very vague statement.
As in, we cannot pay ourselves.
So right, and so you want to pay yourself for what?
Because at that time, we were a legal entity that required us to pay ourselves.
Yeah, and what entity was that? That I thought we didn't incorporate it ever.
No, we did, S Corp.
So we did incorporate, even though my wishes of incorporating, I explained my wish of not incorporating because I wasn't a resident alien. So you did, in fact, go ahead and incorporate it without my consent. Is that what you're saying?
That is absolutely false.
Okay, then what are you saying?
We were on the phone in November 13th when we incorporated together. You stated you did not want to incorporate because you were an illegal alien. Far beyond that date, emails around January 17th and the 1st.
Wait, but if I'm not a resident alien, that means that I cannot incorporate by definition. That was the whole issue, that I could not incorporate by definition before June. That's the point, before June. So why were you rushing? Why were you rushing? Because a business doesn't solve the problem of how you're going to do business. It's a business. You said it yourself. You were over your head when you couldn't describe how you were how were your plans to have a business. You said, "Oh, ideally, I would have to want to have this as an investment vehicle." That's not a business. That's an investment. The business like doesn't solve the problem of how you're going to do business. Isn't a business, and so insisting on incorporating a business that doesn't solve the problem of how you're going to do business, and also insisting on incorporating a business that can be incorporated with 2 owners before June, which we had talked about, and then insisting 3 times to incorporate with 100%, with 80% ownership, and then trying to get 100% of the short-term portfolio by dissolution. That's sabotage from your part. That is the definition of sabotage.
No, sir.
Yes. Did you not understand that I was not able to incorporate before June? Was that not clear? Was it or was it not clear?
At that time, we incorporated.
What time? Tell me what time. At what time was that not clear? Answer the question straight up.
That was in what, September or August, and we can look at the emails.
Look him up right now. I have
have
him up right now. Look him up.
Yeah. So when were we talking with Wells Fargo?
We
You were
learned
fully
that we
aware.
couldn't incorporate. We learned that I couldn't incorporate until June, March or June, because of my legal status. And you knew that a year in advance. And that was still part of the conversation. So why are you ignoring that?
When was that said? When was that? I do not recall that.
You do not recall that do you not recall that I'm an international student all the years you knew me in Northwood, and that I was still like looking to get through my process of getting a green card and then getting citizenship? That has been part of the conversation between us. So you never knew that I was an international student. Is that what you're saying?
No, I understood that you were a resident alien.
No, that's false. I was never as an alien, and we talked about that. So why are you making up lies?
That was my understanding. And then we learned after the fact.
That's a convenient understanding for you to have now. That's a convenient understanding for you to have now. But that was never understanding. And we talked about that when we came across those hurdles in the Wells Fargo. What Wells Fargo told us, that was a dead end. It's like, all right, fine. We have to wait till at least March or June for this to resolve. That was the facts. That was our understanding. That's what everyone would understand from that. But you kept insisting on incorporating when it cannot be incorporated. Why did you do that? See, I knew by intuition that I could incorporate, and anyone who has like a legal sense, would know that. But if I would have told you never incorporate, you would resent me because I was right. So I'll give you the green light to try to take that responsibility on yourself, because it meant a lot for you to incorporate, because you want something to show. So you want someone to show, some label to show, that's for your own ego. That's fine. So I gave you the green light. All right, try to incorporate, bring it upon yourself to try to incorporate. And we found those hurdles, which made sense perfectly. So why are you insisting on incorporating when we cannot incorporate?
I insisted on incorporating because that was the most legal way we could both operate under an entity with a bank account tied to a business.
Okay, but we just established that it's illegal to incorporate before June. So why are you still insisting on doing something illegal? That's on your point. That's your flaw.
I honestly don't remember these conversations. As far as
it's very convenient for you not to remember these conversations.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to spin and try to character assassinate me, that's absolutely true.
I'm not character assassinating. I'm just throwing the facts.
Throwing the facts.
Those are the facts. Because
we are absolutely. You signed the paperwork.
Right. What's that paperwork? Tell me what's that paperwork?
The operating agreement.
Yeah, tell me what that is. Tell me what that agreement says.
Let's go here. By the bylaws, on 11/23. Your signature is not on this paperwork. However, at that time, we had both agreed that this was exactly what was going to go and how we were going to do this. There are text communications supporting these that sent you every and ample opportunity to respond and for you to stop the deal if you were actually in the know and did understand that we could not incorporate at that time.
We could not incorporate at that time. That was clear between us. You told me that was not clear between us?
No.
So you don't understand the fact that to incorporate, I needed to be a resident. And since I was not a resident,
non-resident alien. You could be a non-resident or non-resident alien and incorporate.
yeah, but I'm not that. And that was clear that I was not that. And the whole application I was doing was to get that. And I'll hear back from that application March till June. And that was clear.
Right.
And that was clear. Was that not clear?
That was clear.
Exactly. So that resolves everything. That resolves why we shouldn't incorporate before March, before June. And you're still insisting on incorporating. That's negligent from your part. So your term just came back to bite you. The negligence you were talking about, that's negligence on your part.
I don't believe so because we were on the phone at the same time when you did not air these concerns.
You think I did not? You think you're talking airing these concerns? I was speaking straight up.
You never once said do not incorporate.
I told you not to incorporate a lot of times, but you ignore that. Even on the emails, you ignore that. Even on the emails, you ignore that. I made that clear.
When? Please reference an email.
Okay, you want me to reference your email? I told you. January 9, 2:37 p.m. The answer is in itself. We're not eligible for S-Corp status due to my residency status. I'm waiting for March, June to see what comes from the U.S. CIS decision.
Great. That is after. That is not pre-incorporation. Now, we do understand that, and that is when we did understand that we did need to dissolve the corporation, which we did. And I'm also backing out of this agreement with all fair and due respect to you to no longer be business
What does
partners.
that mean? Fair and due respect to me.
That means
what's your understanding of that?
That means that I will provide you your share of the current liquid value of our investments.
You just try to sabotage me. Now you want to end up 50-50.
How do I try to sabotage you?
You try to sabotage me by trying to keep 100% of the short-term returns.
Not
That's
a
a new
chance. I
starting
didn't try
point.
to keep anything.
Yes, you just said that in the email.
That was solely to get your attention.
Oh, so now you're using sabotage to get my attention. Now I cannot trust
No,
your words because it means that whatever word you're gonna say, I cannot trust it because otherwise
you
you
can't.
either mean it or you either just want to get my attention. Is that what you're
No,
saying now?
You'll choose not to trust me whenever you want to choose not to trust me, and that's okay.
Have I not never trusted you?
You've stated it multiple times now.
Now I don't trust you because you sabotage because now you said you're gonna keep 100% of the short-term returns just to get my attention.
No.
Should anyone trust you after that? Should anyone trust you after that? After you're making a claim like that?
Yeah, you should.
They should. So they should trust someone who says, "Oh, I'm going to keep 100% of the returns
No,
just for sabotage."
I said I am open to that from both
Okay,
sides.
so why would you be open to that? Because that's what you intend. That's what you intend to be the end result. Why would anyone be open to that?
Because you are clearly occupied with other non-business related ventures.
What does
When
that
we
mean?
had serious matters.
When we
What
had
does that
what?
mean?
When we had
When
what?
we had serious matters to resolve.
Okay, what are the serious matters to resolve? Tell me what are those serious matters to resolve? Because you use very vague language, very
The
simple statements in isolation.
The dissolution of our business
Yeah, right.
and
But
how
before
it's
that,
going to pay our taxes.
no, but the issue is we're talking about things before that you're making a claim that we had matters to resolve before that. You're making a claim that I have negligence before we agreed on dissolving our business. So what are those claims?
The claims of negligence are: one, if you did indeed know that we could not incorporate.
We knew that
you
together.
do-
We knew that together when you called me after you had talked to the guys in Wells Fargo, and I told you that I couldn't cross the border and I couldn't do that because of my residency status. We both knew that after that phone call.
It was solely, in my honest memory, it was solely that you could not get across the border, and that was what stopped us from getting a bank account.
That's
And then
it.
we chose. Then
That's
we
false.
chose not.
That's false because that was also my residency status was also part of the constraints by then. Because you went to talk to the Wells Fargo banker. Fine. They told you had to go across the border. And in that same meeting, they told you had to be a resident alien at the least. And since I was not a resident alien and I was not across the border, hey, man, that's a dead end. And anyone would understand that's a dead end. That phone call was
Okay.
around 4 o'clock.
Okay. So if that, if that is the absolute, if you don't want to let that horse, if you want to let that horse lay, I'm open to conceding on that. I am absolutely open to conceding on that. That does not negate what we are actually talking about.
That is what we're at. That is what we're talking about.
No, this conversation is about how we are going to split up the returns.
And the reason for splitting up those returns are because I was not across the border and I'm not a resident alien. So those were the reasons why I couldn't incorporate before June. And you understood that. And we just understood that as the absolute truth. Your words. You just said that as your 2 words. So if that is true, I cannot incorporate before June. Therefore, I had no intentions of dissoluting now. Like, why? The only reason you're insisting on dissoluting now is because it's very convenient for you to dissolute now and try to keep 100% of the short-term returns. That's what you were talking about.
False.
Okay, how is that false? Tell me what is false about that.
Because you are accusing me of a incentive or a motive that is not true.
But you wrote about that. It's written.
No.
It's written.
I wish.
It is written. It is written.
What is written?
You want to keep 100% of the short-term returns.
No.
Yes.
That was an initial offer.
But it is written.
And I
So it is
also
not
offered
false.
you, I also gave you ample opportunity.
But that is written. You accept that that is written before you're trying to change the conversation to something else. That is written. So what you said is
I said,
false.
I am open to this concept.
But why would you be open to that concept when we first already agreed that we were going 50-50 on this? Long
Because
term.
one, because I don't know if you even wanted to, have to deal with the bullshit of signing over assets into my name. All right. 2, because the value of your illiquid assets far outweigh the current value, the potential value of your illiquid assets far outweigh the current liquid value of the cash assets. Would you disagree?
Why? But that's a reason for what?
For a fair split.
Oh, so
However,
you think that's fair? You think splitting potential and liquid
however,
cash is the same thing? It's fair. You think it's fair to
however,
split? So you don't think that's fair, huh? Because you're avoiding that question now.
no, I thought that was fair.
You thought that was fair.
But
That is negligence, after all. That is negligence.
I gave you ample opportunity to
Ample
provide.
opportunity for what? Ample opportunity for what? What does that mean? What does ample opportunity mean to you?
Meaning that I said, I'm going to get this. There are more discussions to be had regarding fair splitting of assets.
Why is there more discussion to be had regarding first split of assets when our agreement was 50-50? Why are more discussions to be had?
50-50?
What?
What is 50-50?
50-50. We were going 50-50 in the investment portfolio.
Yes. However, the investment agreement is that we would invest 50-50.
Right. Who says that's over? You're the only one saying that's over because, all of a sudden you can incorporate because we knew as an absolute truth.
No.
Because I'm not a resident alien and that I'm not across the border that we cannot incorporate before June. So you went to mean that we should dissolve everything. And that's why you said, there's further discussions to be had. That's why you said that.
I'm not walking away.
But there aren't any further discussions to be had once we already agreed that we're going 50-50 in this. So why are you taking that out?
I am not walking away due to the legal complications. If I would have done that, if that was a motive, I would never even gone down this. Now, you've had no part in any of the conversations.
You said I haven't had any parts in any of the conversations. Wow, that's a very white claim. You ready to make that claim?
With the accountant and the
unnecessary, because we know that I cannot incorporate before June. Why should I have a conversation right now when we know that we can incorporate before June? Are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay, so you got this. So problem solved, answer solved. What about it you think it's a problem?
Now that I no longer wish to be in business with you for personal matters.
Okay, for personal matters. But that's not due to merit, is it? We just established that's not due to merit. Now you're moving this to personal matters. That's totally fine. But it's an entirely different discussion. And that's still personal matters is now intervention that it's evident to reverse that. My merit in this partnership is that.
No, the only merit in this partnership is one, we worked 50-50 in all deals, meaning
great. So that's established.
Meaning
we worked 50-50 in all deals. That's great. So we wrote 50-50 in all deals, then split it 50-50.
No, you're stepping over words now.
Okay, say it. Okay, then say it again.
I'm saying we worked 50-50 at least on all deals. Now that's a large claim because I presented you both even the idea for you to make any money in investments with me in the first.
No. because I did go to business school. So I already had the idea of making money in investments. So that claim is wrong. You think I did not know about investments before you talked to me? I was already profitable on my Enbridge trades, on my 3M trades. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm saying that by us pooling money together, you went from making 20% on a $300 trade. So congratulations, you made $80.
That's the definition of pooling investments. That's the reason why people
Far
sign up for
more
this.
money. Far more
Right?
money.
But if that's
Right?
if my merit is if my merit is 20% return, then I can do this with anybody. And that's the definition of pool investments. People have pool investments all the time. So your idea, it's nothing without the capacity for 20% return on any given investment.
I'm just disputing your claims made in the last email about my value to you. Now I understand, and
What value to me? What does that mean, value to you? Value to you, what does that mean?
That's you speaking my value to you.
What does that mean? Value to you. What are those words?
The only value you could ever deliver to me is in representing the agreement you wrote.
Yes, I'm splitting 50-50, because otherwise it would mean that you would steal from me. If I did not agree to something 50-50, that's the only reason why I started to work and get my resources into these trades. Right. But now you're trying to get 100% of the short-term returns. Ooh,
No.
that's a big no-no. Yes, it's written. It's written in the emails. You've said it yourself. You excuse yourself to me now that, oh, that was just to get my attention. Well, man, you got to be careful with what the written words means, because that means if you cannot trust your written word, why would anyone else trust your written word?
Are we going to talk about settling, or are we going to talk about character?
I'm not talking about character. Let's talk about settling.
Currently, you have invested 35% of the total asset pool.
Right, but the total asset pool wouldn't have been possible without me getting the Novio name, would it?
It absolutely would have been possible.
No,
we were both on the computer at the same time. We were both on the computer at the same time.
Right, but I gave you. How did I get the Novio name? How would he gotten the Novio name?
We watched the same pitch. We watched the same pitch deck. We were looking at the same information.
Yes, we were looking at the same information.
Equal opportunity.
Well, equal opportunity, exactly. But my abilities, that's the advantage. We have equal opportunity, but my abilities, that's the advantage. My results, that's the advantage.
Because you were potentially 1 minute faster than me. And congratulations, you won that race. However,
what race did I win? The video was faster than my side? That's what you're saying?
The race that you're trying to say that you won.
But I did get you the name. And so you tell me you tell me since we were watching the video at the same time, then what? That means you would have gotten the Novio name? How?
Absolutely.
How?
Through the same reverse engineering of the same details that we just agreed upon.
What details did we agree on? What details did we agree upon? What are the details we agreed upon?
The photo of the CEO, Joseph Kim, the Philadelphia biotech company, the most recent investments or funding from DARPA, CDC.
Now you're just reading the words in the report, the Google Doc.
No, I'm not. This is all off memory because I remember it very clearly.
Those are words that I wrote in the Google Doc.
I know.
Right.
Because we were talking about it together.
Right. So you're selling everything. You think the portfolio would be the way it is now if I had never gotten into it? That's the claim you were making, and that's why you were trying to.
Saying that.
Well, that's why you're trying to falsify when I said that I got the Novio name, and that the portfolio wouldn't been the way it is now without my help in the portfolio name.
Right. So then you say you got Inovio, right?
I got Inovio, and I got the right price of Inovio. I got when to get out.
We lost on Inovio.
Right, because you wouldn't get out. You waited till like the day after. You said, "Oh, we should have gotten out earlier."
No.
Yes.
We both
I remember the phone
decided.
call.
What day was it?
Phone call was there. I don't know. I changed my ATN, AT&T. I already deleted that number. But that's the facts.
It was Friday. We got out on a Tuesday. Friday, our net investment was up to 8,000. We both decided that it was going to go up.
And how did you decide that? How did we decide that we was going to go up?
That the data had not been released yet.
Okay, but how did we decide it was going to go up?
That there was more potential good news to come.
Yes, and then once those good news came, how did we decide it was going to keep going up?
The good news did not come. The results of the study were negative.
But how do we know it was going to go up? How did we know it was going to go up? My point is, how do we know it was going to go up?
Off clear speculation.
Yes? You think that was clear speculation? Who told you that speculation?
Yes.
Was that you, the speculation?
No, that your app that you use is not proprietary.
Right, exactly. But
That's
the
what you're
elements that I
getting.
came up to use my analysis, that you don't find anywhere else.
Your analysis, as if that wasn't open information. That information
That was open
cannot
information. The information is open for everybody. It's just my analysis. I just analyze it better, and that's what I was giving to you.
Okay.
I never made the claim that I made the app. It's just the analysis. So you were using my analysis for those trades. Were you? Were you not?
I mean, we were 50-50, right? So both of our information.
Oh, when is 50-50? The analysis is 50-50? You were using my analysis for those trades. Were you not? Were you not? You said it yourself. You did not know anything about financials. Just from watching Shark Tank.
All right, here we are with another, character, shot. Now, if we get back to
it's not
details,
a trivial thing. They're not isolated from each other. Because you're trying to make the claim.
If we get back
trying to make the claim
details,
that I did not work into this partnership to make it what it is now, to make the portfolio is what it is now. You're trying to use sheer numbers like, oh, okay. So what's your claim? You think that was not your claim? What's your claim now?
Saying that we were both making decisions as 50-50 partners, not financially decisions, but we were making investment decisions as 50-50 partners.
Right, exactly. So 50-50 split of the portfolio. It only makes sense.
So then what does 50-50 look like to you?
50-50 of the whole portfolio, split by half, 50%, 50%.
Okay. So can you add up our liquid assets and our illiquid assets?
Yes.
And remember that you only invested 35% of that, and that will be taken into account in this discussion.
No, that's not taken into account because we already agreed that we worked in this 50-50 and we already agreed on this split 50-50 a minute ago.
Read the agreement. Read the agreement.
A minute ago we agreed on that.
No, we were working 50-50, not that we owned 50-50.
We're working 50-50 into the portfolio, so we're going to split 50-50 portfolio. The only reason we wouldn't is because you want to dissolute right now for personal matters, personal issues, which is not in the agreement that you told me to read. It's not in the agreement to dissolute right now. So there is no rush into breaking right now when I'm at 30%. No rush. The only thing you're insisting is the rush that's from yourself. Because my investment timeline is not from last March to this March. It was from last March all the way till fucking retirement if I wanted to. Like 9 figures, 8 figures at least. So that's how long it takes for an investment portfolio to build up. If we're going 50-50 investment portfolio by then yeah, by next month when I have a conglomerate job working finance at a treasury in the conglomerate, then yes, I would have a lot more money to put into portfolio and then we get 50-50, boom, it's 50-50 then. But even then I wouldn't take out the money because hey, it's an investment portfolio, which we signed an agreement, which now you're saying, oh, I don't want to work with you for personal reasons. That's your words, that's your verbatim. So any agreement you make, you just hitting the brakes on that. So if now it's 30%, there is no time spent in the agreement. The 30% that I have funded of the portfolio can easily go to 50. There is no expiring date on that. And we understood that since I'm not a resident alien and I have done visible efforts to be a resident alien with all the applications I've done and all the visas I've done, then hey, by June, it would have just gone smooth sailing. But you don't want to wait till June for personal matters.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you're in the wrong because you're not following the agreement that you signed and that you keep referring back to.
Why is this being in the wrong? What's like who's to win here? I'm asking you what you think is fair.
Fair is 50-50 of the portfolio. Even
Okay.
50-50.
So how does that work?
Whatever's in whatever position, whatever's on gold, on Bitcoin, it's 50-50 between you and me. And whatever I have on the liquid ones, you take that particular amount from all the proceeds from Bitcoin, from gold, from all our short-term trades in Novio, and then you put that into your own account for liquid stocks. Just so that you have the same amount that I have on my liquid stocks as you do, and then whatever else it is liquid.
Bitcoin, yeah, as you just the gold. Yeah, that's
50-50.
Okay, that's a good starting point. I understand what you're saying there. But as you just said prior, that those illiquid assets could potentially actually gross to 50%. And who says they couldn't gross to more? Who said they couldn't gross to the actual value of our liquid assets at this current time? So
only time will tell. Only time will tell. Meaning the next 5-10 years, next retirement years. That's why people sign up for investment portfolios.
Sure. So we can split what you want. However, I would like one illiquid asset. The illiquid asset that I would like in exchange is the lowest value of investment Legion, you keep TerraCycle, and QualCam.
Okay, so that makes sense because that would mean that, yes, I agree with that.
Okay?
Yes.
You agree with that?
I agree with that.
So from there, we'll take the cash difference of those two. So QualCam plus TerraCycle, that adds up to 331.52 or whatever. Or I don't know. And divide that by 2. So that's plus 1,400 minus 0.25. Right. So that turns out to be a cash difference of $1,063.50. That cash difference will be deducted from your liquid assets forfeiture. Or
what's the quantity that's going to be deducted from my liquid assets?
So $1,063.50, which is the net difference, the net cash difference from the illiquid asset investments. And you can do the math. Make sure that's fair.
Let me write this down. 1,000. What is it?
63.5, and that is the value of Qualcomm plus TerraCycle subtracted from the value of Legion divided by 2.
1,000. Okay. Understood.
Understood?
Yeah.
Now, the distribution of the liquid assets is a little bit trickier. Would you like these to be sent via cryptocurrency, which would likely be in your best interest?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link, my Coinbase link.
What?
I'm gonna send you my Coinbase link. Yeah, through crypto.
Now, before all of this, I'm going to get confirmation that Legion is in my name.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will promptly transfer money.
I'll send you a screenshot when it's done. I'm signing on the account right now, on the Legion account.
Are you sure it's easier, that easy? I don't want this to be rushed. No need to rush this.
Yeah. Okay, since it won't let me trade Legion in the platform, what I can do is change my personal details for it to be you, and
No,
change
you
the
can
login.
you can call them and figure out how we can transfer it.
Okay, I'll do that.
No, those are split 50-50. Agreed?
Yes.
Now Um, you're lucky I'm in a giving mood. You're lucky that I am opting to waive your withholding of how much you spent to transfer the money. That brings our net investment of money, not time, to a reasonable balance. Okay? Do you agree?
What's the number?
What is the number of your net investment or gross investment from the,
50-50.
no, would add up the amount that you, so add up what you invested in your illiquid assets. The total should come to 4177. Now, how much money did you spend in transferring the money?
So it's 1,155.
Can I get visual confirmation of that? Mono?
What?
Can I get visual confirmation of that that's the balance that you spent, since it was not recorded as your investment ledger of expenses?
I have to go back to my credit card.
Please do so. If you're unable to find the documents, then we'll just revert back to our initial 65-35% split.
No, I gotta find a card. I gotta find a card.
Okay. What's this QR code for?
That's my
E-wallet?
Bitcoin. That's my Bitcoin.
So I'm going to send over parcels of various coins for equal opportunity. And I need to sell, I'm going to sell Barrick and transfer that to Ripple. So is that, I've also drafted up a contract, which I'll send over shortly. There is a fair reduction, 10% in your share to account for both capital gains tax of past sales on my end and present sales to make this deal happen. So
What's
your
that mean?
net, so 10% capital gains tax,
Okay.
right, of everything that I've sold and have been personally taxed upon, and everything that I will sell to be personally taxed upon to make this deal happen. So after reducing your cash balance by the 1063 agreed upon by the average net cost of the illiquid assets, and another 10% of that current value of $9,216.40, your new adjusted distribution is $8,212.41. I will sell my position in Barrick Gold to net $2,200 and convert to Ripple, and will transfer to you, Romano Mesoliel. I, Daniel Blake, will transfer $2,500 in Bitcoin and transfer to you, Romano Mesoliel. I, Daniel Blake, will transfer $2,500 in Ethereum and transfer to you, Romano Mesoliel. I, Daniel Blake, will transfer an odd number, but it all kind of makes it even, $1,012.41 in Chainlink and transfer it to you, Romano Mesoliel. The grand total of transferred funds will equal $8,212.41.
Correct.
Do you agree to all of those terms?
Yes.
Okay. I will save this. And I will send it your way to sign and date. E-signature is fine by me. Already got your verbal consent. Can this QR code be used to transfer various currencies, or is it just Bitcoin?
I think it's just Bitcoin.
Which wallet do you use? Do you use
Coinbase.
Coinbase?
Yeah.
Okay. We should be able to add each other on friends on Coinbase. All of these deals are pending you figuring out how to transfer Legion into my name.
Yeah.
And this is going to have to be, your word and my word. And there's a 30 day, net time balance on this deal. So there's ample time. I think it's more than fair.
Correct.
And it still requests that you find those receipts.
Yes, they're easy to find. I just need to wait for my mother because
Okay.
she has a card in her name.
Okay.
She was here
That's
while she
fine.
was doing the exchange.
So we will resume this conversation once that occurs. There's no reason to continue this talk once we sign off on this paperwork, and we just have to wait for everything to come through. I'll sell my Barrick position as quickly as possible to get the funds available to transfer in. I expect my end of the deal to be completed within at least 10 days, and sometimes it just takes some time for the money to be available.
True.
I will copy a signed document on both of our behalves back to us and to be kept for our records. I've just sold my position in Barrick. Net loss of about 20%. You received my email?
Yes. Signing right now.
Great. Is that an e-signature or a printed? Great. I'll just reconvert this to PDF. I just need this on one page, so I'll readjust it in Google. Should be done now. Good now. Cool. All right. Excuse me, I'm going to sign it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Bitcoin's at 58,000. Why are you only putting 2,500?
Because that's the value of your cash.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. I added them all up. And that's the value of your cash.
Okay.
All right, I've returned the signed agreement. You can follow up with those receipts later on.
Yep.
Let me know once you hear from Legion, and I'll start transferring the money over.
Correct.
Cool? All
Yes.
right. Glad we could come to an agreement peacefully.
Yes. So I'll text you my email and I'll put up the notes to the Google Doc and fucking rock and roll.
Yeah, man. So start establishing like a system,
Yeah.
right? That we can just, work. All we have to do is work the system, right? Like, ask what are the questions we ask. What, if maybe we have to fill out a spreadsheet, of companies, so we have, different columns for different, assets, and we can work out some valuation schemes. Confirm proper valuation, revenue projection. I don't know, like, how to do that. All I'm pulling from is watching Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I know that math is pretty. So yeah, let's start thinking about how we're going to systematize our shit. So we can just start calling companies and making decisions.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll get to that right now.
Fuck yeah, dude. And that's kind of where your skill set comes in most handy.
Yeah.
I just don't, of course, we can both work on it together, but you've got a head start on me.
Of course, yeah, man. I got like some fucking. I definitely have what do you call it, like templates and shit that I use in college. So.
Perfect. Yeah. And like, dude, reach out to that. Your the one thing I learned is to use your network.
Yeah.
Your personal network, right? Like who can you call for information? To be a trustworthy source that's not trying to, monkey you around.
Right.
So I mean, even call your professor up, from college that was talking about 3M and that other company.
Yeah.
Obviously it's just an idea, but like fuck, dude. Like the only thing that sometimes stands between you and information is a phone call or an email.
Exactly.